So why don't we, not, since you mentioned the film, like go back and talk a little bit about the film and about your guys.
Sure.
So, like,
About what?
Yeah, the what?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, that thing. Someone's been carrying a camera around following you guys. Did you not notice?
I wish. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, we've all been watching. No.
What?
What's your background then in film? And in
I got the giggles.
Yeah. What's your background in film and whatnot? So to give people an idea.
Yeah, we've been making movies since we were kids. I mean, like, anytime there's a school report, it's like, let's make a movie. It's way easier, way more fun. And the teacher's usually like, here's your A. So we've been doing that for a very long time. That's how we got our start. I went to school and quickly found that film school was total horseshit, and we bounced out of there, drop out. Then I moved on to work around town.
Not all film schools horseshit.
Yeah. Not all of it, but for us it was, right? So,
sure.
Anyway, who cares? I said it. Then I ended up getting a job at a company called LAIKA. So we actually we make stop motion films. Won the BAFTA for Kubo and the Two Strings. Not me. I worked on that film, so I didn't direct that. Travis Knight, our main dude, did. So it's a crazy job where I'm their first assistant director. So I run the shooting floor, which is probably the largest and most complicated in the world. And that's my job, is to keep it all on the rails. So that's like the production management side of things. And then outside of that, we do a ton of creative work, music videos. I do a lot of writing. And my brosif has been a musician mostly. He's below me. I don't know if he's below me.
Yeah. I'm over here for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mostly musician. We've been making movies our entire lives. And through the pandemic, we've also been doing some commercial work for local businesses and some nonprofits to try and drum up support for, things like Cocktails to Go or just the restaurants and local businesses in general having a hard time during the pandemic. Our city, Portland, is small businesses kind of make it as awesome as it is. So we've been trying to do a lot of work for those businesses around town.
That's very noble. So where did you come to the GameStop saga? Like what made you sort of tune in, notice, pick it up? Where was the first time you heard it? And then how did that become, let's make a documentary about this?
I had been on Wall Street Bets for a while. And I ended up finding out about it. I'm only started because I started it. I don't know. So I was on Wall Street Bets for a while. Thought it was hilarious. All this gambling and lost porn, all this other shit. And in January, I ended up finding out about GameStop and was like, oh man, look, I've been curious about investing for a while, and I've got like a few $100. Like, screw it, let's just jump in. And then I called my brother, like, dude, you gotta try this. And he's like, oh, I don't have my Robinhood account. And then we both kind of scrambled, got in pretty early, but not as early as we wanted to, because I noticed it like $30, and I was like, ooh. But it took a little bit to get like a broker set up, so it was higher by then. But anyway, early January, here we are, invested. Brother?
Oh yeah, I'm unemployed musician at the time. I've got a wife that wants a family, and I'm just not providing that. So yeah, for me, it's like I've been a poor musician my entire life, and this was a chance for me to be like, okay, maybe I could actually make a nice enough chunk to realize some of those dreams and not have to go back to certain jobs that don't necessarily fulfill what I want out of life. So yeah, for me it was a chance to better my situation, just like it is for, I bet you anything, half the people I got into this have a very similar story to mine. So we're very much of this community for a lot of the same reasons, and I think that's a big reason why we think that we could be the right people to tell this story. We are the right people to tell the story, in our opinion.
Yeah. And the big kicker was when Robinhood halted buying. That was like our catalyst to be like, nope, something's up. This is crazy. And like, because in that moment you see the community, like it drops down to $38 for GameStop, and obviously lower for AMC, and all these people that are holding these stocks, and BlackBerry, Nokia, all these people, they're normal humans, and instead of like selling, like the media is like screaming at them like, sell, you idiots. And there's like, nah, we're idiots. Like, what are you thinking? Like, so like they're not idiots obviously, but that's like the funny meme part. But they hold on to it. And instead of, being scared, they go, it's like something wrong happened here. Let's start figuring it out. And then the DD just explodes and the apes galvanize. And that is the moment that we were like, okay, let's do this. Let's just make a film. Like, these are the tools that we have. We're filmmakers and storytellers. So I posted on Reddit basically saying, hey, everybody, how many of you are pissed off and wants to see a real documentary telling the truth about what's happening with the apes and the short squeeze of a lifetime? And the response was crazy positive. I've never had a Reddit post explode, and it was really fun. I was like responding to everybody. That was on St. Patty's Day. It's a great day. And we, because you're Irish, sorry.
Oh.
So we started the work after that, and the next post was, okay, so we're doing this thing. Here's who we are. Tell us what you want to see in the film. And since then, we've been working very hard to make sure that the way we're approaching the film is coming from the community. Like, what are the topics you want to see? Who do you want us to talk to? And then as we make it, we're going to be including them throughout the process. So, we're trying to double down on the fact that this is a film for the apes, by the apes. But I kind of went long there, but that's basically it.
So good, Quinn. Anything that what made you so interested in deciding to be a part of making a film about this? Like, who first came up with the idea? Who came to who?
My brother called me as I was panicking to try and figure out how the hell I can buy more as it was dipping rather than just taking everything.
I gotta buy more.
Yeah. So my brother called me. He was like, "We should make a documentary about this. This is bullshit." So yeah, we started. I kind of stopped for a second. I'm like, "Okay, calm down. I'm gonna ignore my phone. Yeah, there's something weird here, right? We should probably start looking at this." So we started digging, and that was my brother's idea, but we started digging pretty early and just looking at all the different communities, seeing what they're saying, trying to find out if there was anyone that had an explanation. And that kind of got us going down the rabbit hole.
I don't know. Did you guys have I went through. Now I'm a little less crazy about it, but I went through periods in February where I was just consuming DD for hours of a night, just being like, what is going on here? Like scrolling through Reddit, being like, someone has to understand, and then you find that magical golden DD that really lay it out in a way that you understood, and you're like, oh, I really get this, and it's not got too many of the complicated graphs. And then underneath the comments, I would just be reading them and pissing myself laughing for it didn't matter the topic of the post, whether it was a really serious explanation of financial fuckery, or whether it was just a shit post of Kenny, or whether it was there were some really touching posts about people's parents passing away, and that this community was helping them get through it. And then, underneath, there would just be, both beautiful comments and being someone go fuck this man's wife.
It's so funny.
Yeah. For me, it's this human story. Shut up, Finley.
I did.
The human story, the humanity, I think, is. I mean, I couldn't think of anything else that could get so many people around the world to sit down for a few hours a night and go, I'm going to read about this financial concept. It's normally very dry stuff, but if you throw in these stories about, people's tragedies, people's successes, and then a bunch of really dumb humor on top of all of it, it's like it's like a Farrelly Brothers movie mixed with, Harmony Korine movie mixed with the Terrence Malick movie. There's so much there. It's so mashed up in such a weird, awesome way that a
lot of Harmony
Korine. Global pandemic could spawn. Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, it's really, really beautiful in a way in a time when, because I kind of thought before January, at least anyway, I was a bit, I don't know, depressed about the state of the world. I'd had this thought that maybe the pandemic was gonna lead to a lot of good things, the lockdowns would make everyone take stock of their lives, and we'd all come back refreshed and ready to change the system, and then it sort of just devolved into fighting, and everyone hating each other over it as usual. And then
Yeah.
January rolled around, and I remember like saying to people, being like, this is the most exciting and positive thing I've literally seen in a whole year.
Or on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, the internet's a dark and terrible place. It's like, this is weird. Yeah, totally. I think a lot of people felt that way, you know, like the pandemic's been a really hard time for a lot of people. And to find like this way that you can be at home and do something that seems really positive and could have positive impact, you know, on the planet at large. Like, I think that what's the most positive thing that's going to come out of this is that there's a generation of people that's going to teach this shit to their kids. You know, financial literacy is now a hot topic, and like, I wish we learned this stuff when we were young. Like, here's how debt works. Maybe don't go to that school. You don't need 70 grand in debt if you're an artist. Like, you know, like that kind of thing. Welcome to America. So it's like this empowerment to teach each other and your children, and like a healthy distrust for what the media is feeding you, and to find a way to like educate yourself enough to know what's bullshit, you know. So I hope that is the main thing that comes out of this, that people feel empowered to not only teach themselves but their children, and to hold these larger entities accountable.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, or sign up to our mailing list. Thanks a lot to our sponsor, ExpressVPN, the #1 most trusted VPN. Get lightning fast connectivity with servers in 160 locations across 94 countries. Keep your browsing privacy safe with ExpressVPN, and get a 35% discount on 12 months of ExpressVPN when you follow the link in the description below. Don't forget, my book is now out and available to order on Amazon and on bookshop.org. That's Brexit, the Establishment Civil War. And most importantly, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.